study hall, and you've landed in But Why Though? The segment where we dig into the surprising origins of just about everything.
Everything every day, at least.
Exactly. And today, we're really sinking our teeth into something. Chewing gum.
Ah, nice one. But yeah, think about it. That pack of gum in your pocket, maybe? Or rattling around in your bag? Ever just stop and think where it actually came from? Its journey is, well, it's surprisingly long and pretty fascinating.
It really is. We've pulled together a whole stack of sources, tracing it all the way from, like, ancient civilizations right up to the supermarket shelf today.
Our mission, should we choose to accept it,
Which we do.
is to unpack the most interesting, maybe mind-blowing bits about gum's origins and, how it changed over time.
Totally. We've got sources covering Neolithic.
Or tar.
Yeah, tar all the way to Wrigley's marketing genius, the science of sugar-free stuff,
Yeah.
and even the environmental side of our chewing habits.
Get ready for some wait what moments, I think.
Definitely. Okay, so let's rewind way, way back. Think Neolithic Scandinavia, maybe 6,000 BCE.
Right. And what's incredible is we actually have hard evidence. Lumps of birch bark tar.
Birch bark tar.
Yeah, found in places like Denmark, Sweden, Finland. And get this, they have tooth impressions on them.
Actual teeth marks.
Yeah?
From like 8,000 years ago.
Yep. People were definitely chewing this stuff. Ancient chewing gum, basically.
Okay, but why chew tar? Doesn't sound particularly appealing. Was it like a dare back then?
Probably not. Our sources point to a few possibilities. A big one seems to be oral hygiene.
Really? Tar for clean teeth?
Well, birch bark tar actually has antiseptic properties. It's kind of antibacterial, so chewing it might have helped fight infections, maybe soothe sore gums.
Makes sense.
Plus, it's sticky, right? So maybe it helped trap food particles, like a very early toothbrush.
A sticky, tarry toothbrush. Okay. So, dental hygiene. What else?
It could have been used as an adhesive, too. When you chew it, it gets more pliable.
So maybe for sticking bits of tools together. Like stone and wood.
Possibly, or honestly, it could have just been a habit. Sensory stimulation, maybe stress relief, or some kind of social practice we just don't know about.
It's wild to think about. And these tar lumps,
Yeah.
they're more than just old gum, aren't they? There's something else amazing about
Oh,
them.
absolutely. This is the really mind-blowing part. Scientists have actually extracted ancient DNA from them.
DNA from chewed tar.
A Neolithic human DNA. It gives us insights into the people who lived back then, their diet, maybe their health, even the kinds of bacteria in their mouths. It's like a tiny, chewy time capsule.
That is incredible. A direct link.
Oh.
Okay, let's jump forward a few thousand years and across the globe. Mesoamerica.
Right? Think Mayans and Aztecs. Roughly 2000 BCE up to the 1500s CE. They were chewing gum too, but a different kind. Chicle.
Chicle. That sounds more familiar. That's from a tree, right?
Exactly. It's the natural latex, like a milky sap from the sapodilla tree. The Mayans figured out how to harvest it, cut grooves in the bark, collect the sap, let it harden into something chewable. Pretty clever.
And why were they chewing chicle? Similar reasons to the tar chewers.
Some overlap, yeah, but also climate-specific stuff. It helped keep their mouths moist in the hot weather.
Makes sense.
And definitely for oral hygiene, again, cleaning teeth, freshening breath, the usual suspects.
Was there, like, gum etiquette back then? Any social rules?
Well, our sources suggest there might have been some speculation it was maybe more common for women and children to chew it.
Oh, interesting.
And there's even a hint that the Mayan elite might have had, like, flavored versions, fancy ancient gum.
Wow. Okay, so then the Aztecs inherit this tradition.
They do, but they seem to have had more defined social rules around chewing chicle.
Right, quiet.
It was generally seen as acceptable for kids and unmarried women, but for adult men or married women chewing it in public, that was apparently frowned upon.
Frowned upon. Why?
It could be seen as, well, improper, maybe a sign of loose morals, or just not dignified for certain people in public.
Huh. Who knew chewing gum could be so scandalous? But chicle wasn't just for chewing, right? It had other uses.
Definitely. Both cultures used it as an adhesive, sticking things together for tools, pottery. The Aztecs even used it for waterproofing containers. It was pretty versatile stuff.
Multi-purpose. Okay, so we've gone from tar to chicle. Now let's leap forward again. Mid-19th century, the start of commercial gum.
And the inspiration, interestingly, comes partly from Native American traditions.
Right. They chewed spruce resin, didn't they?
Yeah, various tribes did. For enjoyment, keeping the mouth moist, maybe some oral health benefits too. And early European settlers saw this and, well, they took notes.
Which leads us to Mr. John B. Curtis in 1848. He sees this and thinks, Business opportunity.
Pretty much. He took that idea and created the first gum sold commercially. State of Maine, pure spruce gum.
State-of-made pure spruce gum. Kitschy. How did he make it?
He basically boiled and refined the spruce resin, sometimes added a bit of sweetener, probably to, make it slightly less resiny.
Slightly less like chewing a pine tree. And how did he sell this stuff?
In little wooden boxes, sold them in general stores, mostly around New England.
Who was buying it back then?
It apparently caught on with loggers, sailors, factory workers, people who wanted to freshen their breath or just keep their mouths from getting dry during long shifts.
But spruce gum probably had its limits, right? I can't imagine the texture or flavor was amazing.
Yeah, it was reportedly quite brittle, and that strong, piney taste, well, it wasn't going to take over the world.
But Curtis was important. He kicked things off.
Absolutely. He proved you could actually sell chewing gum as a product. He started the industry, basically. Rudimentary manufacturing, distribution. It was the beginning.
Okay, so spruce gum is step one. But then things really change with chicle entering the commercial picture. Late 19th century.
Right. And this involves a rather unlikely pairing. Thomas Adams and Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna?
Santa Anna, the Mexican general.
The very same. Apparently, he introduced Adams to chicle. Adams first tried to use it as a substitute for rubber.
For rubber. How'd that go?
Terribly. Total failure. But then Adams had a light bulb moment. Maybe. Maybe people could just chew this stuff.
And that worked.
Bingo. In 1871, he patented Adams New York chewing gum, the first chicle-based gum.
And chicle was much better than spruce resin.
Oh, way better. The texture was the key thing. Soft, elastic, much more pleasant to chew. Plus, it had a neutral taste and smell.
Perfect for adding flavor.
Exactly. Unlike spruce gum or the paraffin wax some others were trying, chicle was the real deal for making flavored gum.
So Adams didn't just invent the base, he pioneered flavors too.
Well, his company, Adams and Sons, did. They became one of the first big gum manufacturers. And yeah, they brought out the first flavored gums.
Like what?
First up was Blackjack in 1884. Licorice flavor. Kind of proved gum could be more than just chewy. It could be a treat.
Blackjack. Still around, isn't it?
In some places, yeah. Then came Tutti Frutti in the late 1880s. Big hit. Fruit flavored. It was one of the first gums sold in vending machines, actually.
Vending machines in the subway. Wow.
New York subway, yeah. And let's not forget chiclets, those little candy-coated squares. Also an Adams creation.
Okay, so Adams gets the ball rolling with chicle and flavors, but then comes a name everyone knows, Wrigley.
William Wrigley Jr., yep.
Yeah.
He wasn't originally a gum guy, though.
Oh, what did he start with?
Soap, actually, and baking powder. He used chewing gum as a freebie, like a little extra incentive to buy his main products.
A promotional item.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then he realized people were maybe more interested in the gum than the soap, so we switched focus. Smart move.
Very smart. And he launched some absolute icons.
Oh, yeah. Juicy Fruit and Wrigley's Spearmint. Both came out in 1893. Think about that. They're still huge today.
And double mint a bit later.
1914, another classic. But it wasn't just the gum itself. Wrigley was a marketing genius.
How so? What did he do differently?
He just went all in on advertising. Billboards, newspapers, magazines, later radio, just everywhere. And his sampling campaigns were legendary.
Sample.
He mailed free gum to basically every household listed in the U.S. phone directory at one point. Millions of samples.
No way. Just sent free gum to everyone.
Pretty much. And he gave tons of it to soldiers during World War I. It was about getting the product directly into people's hands and mouths on a massive scale.
Plus those catchy slogans, right? The flavor lasts.
Double your pleasure, double your fun. They stuck. And he was clever about positioning gum beyond just candy.
How do you mean?
He associated it with fresh breath, sure, but also things like helping digestion, even relieving stress or tension, broadening its appeal.
Made it seem almost practical.
Exactly. And he didn't just stay in the U.S. He expanded internationally pretty early on, factories in Canada, Europe. Wrigley really took chewing gum global.
Right, which brings us more towards the modern era, late 20th, 21st century. And the gum itself starts changing fundamentally again.
Yeah, a big shift happens away from natural chicle. Demand was just getting too high, and manufacturers wanted something more consistent, maybe cheaper.
So what do they switch to?
Synthetic gum bases. These are basically polymers, often petroleum-based, things like polyvinyl acetate, but tediene and styrene rubber.
Wait, like plastic. We're chewing plastic.
Well, they're specific food-grade polymers, rigorously tested for safety, designed to mimic the chewiness of natural bases, but yeah, they are synthetic compounds. Not exactly natural latex anymore for most mainstream gums.
Huh. Okay. And around the same time, we start seeing another huge trend: sugar-free gum.
Absolutely. Big push driven by health consciousness, worries about sugar and teeth.
So artificial sweeteners made that possible.
Right. Aspartame was a big one in the 1980s, but then came sweeteners like xylitol in the 90s and 2000s.
Xylitol is interesting, isn't it? It's actually supposed to be good for your teeth.
Yeah, that's the unique thing. It actually inhibits the growth of the bacteria that cause cavities. That's why dentists often recommend xylitol gum. Plus, sugar-free gums often manage to make the flavor last longer, too.
So better for teeth, longer flavor.
Yeah.
Win-win. But gum didn't stop there. It started getting functional.
Exactly. It became a delivery system.
Yeah.
Nicotine gum hit the scene in the 80s, helping people quit smoking.
Right, nicotine replacement.
Then came caffeine gum for an energy boost. And people are exploring all sorts now. Vitamin gum, CBD gum, maybe even probiotic gum for gut health down the line.
Wow, gum that does things for you. It's come a long way from birch tar.
A very long way. But there's a downside to all this modern gum development, isn't there, the environmental angle?
Yeah, that synthetic base. It doesn't just disappear when you spit it out, does it?
Nope. Most gum is non-biodegradable because of those synthetic polymers. It's essentially a form of plastic pollution. Sticks to pavements, costs money to clean up, can harm wildlife if they ingest it. It's a sticky problem, literally.
Thanks. Are people trying to fix that?
Thankfully, yes. There's a growing movement towards more sustainable options. Eco-friendly gums using natural, biodegradable bases are making a comeback.
Like chicle again.
Yeah, or other plant-based materials. Brands like Simply Gum, Glee Gum, True Gum, Nude Gum, they're focused on this.
That's good to hear. Are there other solutions, like recycling?
There are initiatives trying that too. Special bins like gumdrop bins collect old gum, and companies like GumTech are finding ways to recycle it into new materials.
Recycling chewing gum. Who knew? So the future might be more natural or maybe more recyclable.
Could be both. Maybe edible coatings, wider use of natural bases, better recycling, maybe even compostable gum. Innovation's still happening.
And one last thing we shouldn't forget: the role of war in making gum so popular globally.
Oh, absolutely crucial point. Including gum in military rations, especially for U.S. soldiers in WWI and WWII, was huge.
How so?
It introduced chewing gum to millions of people across the world who might not have encountered it otherwise. Soldiers shared it, traded it. It became a familiar comfort, a taste of home, and really helped spread the habit globally after the wars.
Right. Gave it a massive boost in popularity.
Definitely. A significant factor in its worldwide presence today.
So wrapping this up, it's been quite a journey. From ancient folks chewing tar for toothaches, to Mayan chicle, to Curtis's spruce gum, Adams's flavors, Wrigley's marketing machine, synthetic bases, sugar-free, functional gum, and now sustainability concerns.
It's way more complex than you'd think. Just looking at a stick of gum, you see resourcefulness, business innovation, changing health ideas, environmental awareness, all wrapped up in this one little product.
What stands out most to you from all this?
For me, it's maybe that link back to the Neolithic tar. The fact that we can get DNA from something chewed thousands of years ago, that's just mind-boggling. But the whole evolution is fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. And it makes you wonder, what is next as we get more focused on personalized health and, saving the planet? What's the next twist for chewing gum?
Will it be a full circle back to purely natural bases, or will some new bioengineered, super sustainable material take over?
Definitely something to chew on. Seriously, though, if this got you thinking, maybe take a look at other everyday things around you. You never know what surprising histories you might uncover.
True that. Every object has a story.
Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. Join us next time on Study Hall for another exploration into the but why, though, of our world.